We can get equivalent ratio by multiplying or dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. What did I said? We can get equivalent ratio by multiplying or dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. Suppose 1 ratio is, it is given 1:2, so we can write in fraction format 1/2. If we want to another equivalent fraction or ratio, then we should to multiply by same number, and this number is n divided by n, and n is coming from set of natural number, that will give you n times 2n, and this one will be equivalent to this ratio. Means you can change any fraction into lowest form if possible, if possible, because this is given in lowest form. You cannot reduce this one, but you can reduce here, n cancel out by n, and you will get 1/2, means 1 is 2. 1 is to 2. So this is the way of getting equivalent fraction. Now come to another concern, proportion. As we have finished ratio in previous classes, if two ratios are equal, we say they are in same ratio. They are in proportion. And we denote or use symbol this one, or equal sign. For equal of two fraction, this is for equality. Equate the two ratio. If two ratio, suppose 1:2 and another is 3:6, then these two ratios are equal. Then how to write these? 1:2 proportion 3:6. This is the way, or you can hear equal sign. If two ratios are not equal, then we see that they are not in proportion. If two ratios are not equal, then we see that they are not in proportion. In a statement of proportion, the four quantities involved when taken in order are known as respective terms. These are respective terms of proportion. In a statement of proportion the four quantities involved when take in proportion, when take in order are known as respective term. Respective terms. Now, up to here, what we have discussed. First point is, for comparing quantities of the same type, we commonly use the method of taking difference between the quantities. For comparing quantities of the same type, we commonly use the method of taking difference between the quantities. Now, second point is, in many situations, a more meaning comparison between quantities is made by using division. That is, by seeing how many times one quantity is to the other quantity. This method is known as comparison by ratio. So, second point is, in many situations, a more meaning comparison between quantities is made by using division. That is, by seeing how many times one quantity is to the other. This method is known as comparison by ratio. Now, third point is, for comparison by ratio, the two quantities must be in same unit before the ratio is taken. For comparison by ratio or by division, the two quantities must be in the same unit. Before the ratio is taken. Now fourth point is the same ratio may occur in different situations. Now fifth point is note that the ratio 3 is to 2 is different from 2 is 3. It is very important. 2 is to 3 is different from 3 is to 2. Thus, the order of the quantities or in which order quantities are taken to express their order is important. Thus, the order in which quantities are taken to express their ratio is important. A ratio may be treated as a fraction. This is a ratio may be treated as a fraction. Thus, the ratio 10 is to 3 may be treated as thus the ratio 10 is to 3 may be treated as 10 by 3. Now the importance, it is very important line, treated as a fraction. Why not rational? Why not rational? Because we take ratio of something which exists in real. We take ratio which things exist in real, and fraction is the part of whole or combination of whole and a fractional part. Fraction is part of whole and whole with fraction, whole quantity with fraction, and this is known as mixed fraction and this is proper fraction, part of whole, proper fraction. But if you took or treated ratio as a rational, then rationals are negative. Rationals are negative, but ratio never be negative because the definition of ratio is how many times is one quantity is to other, means how many times to multiply one quantity to get another equivalent quantity, to get equivalent quantity. So this is important. A ratio may be treated as a fraction but not rational. It is very important. concern about introduction and it can be asked in many interviews. The seventh point is two ratios are equivalent if the fraction corresponding to them are equivalent. Two ratios are equivalent if the fraction corresponding to them are equivalent.